Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next question comes from That's Awesome, Kareen. This is Kareen from New York. And this was in response to Korg M1 replacing the joystick and floppy drive, a video I did in February 2023. Good God. It's that long ago. I didn't think it was that long ago I did that video. And Kareen writes, "Hey, Music Tech Man, I'm the one who requested you do this video a year ago." And she did. Thank you again for making it. You are a gem. I have a question for you. I cannot find a full joystick assembly available from Sintar online. I also can't find it from resellers on eBay. For example, someone is currently selling a joystick assembly from a M1 and they're saying it's compatible with the T1, but all my research says no, it's not compatible. I don't trust the sellers anymore. Well, a lot of people are selling things on eBay and some people are very knowledgeable about what they're selling and other people really don't have a Scooby-Doo. So it kind of is what they call, what they say in Latin is caveat emptor, which is a very posh legal term for basically saying buyer beware. If you buy stuff in this situation, unless you've got the back end of the platform and they can say it was missold, tough. Tootle. I was going to say something else then. I thought I'd probably get caught by the content police. Anyway, she then goes on to say, do you know anyone who's selling the correct thing and is not price gouging? And that's the other thing that's going on at the moment. So I'm wondering if you want to sell your T1 joystick assembly at all. Cheeky. I know shipping would probably be a hassle since I'm in the USA, but try my luck. I'm really wanting to take care of this. It's been over a year that I've been looking for one, thanks. Yes, so basically I am not cannibalising my T1, Kareen, so I do apologise for that, but the answer on that one is a square fat no. So my T1 is in rude health, apart from the fact it hasn't got a 7 button at the moment, and that's a future project that you will see on the channel. Now, here is the thing. The Korg T series consisted of 3 keyboards. It consisted of T1, T2 and T3, as we all know. Now, if you go and look at the T3 and you look at it side by side with an M1, and if you covered up the T3 and the M1 logo, you probably would struggle to see the difference between the 2 keyboards. Apart from the fact that obviously on the T series you've got a bigger screen, but actually if you look at the case in general, it's pretty much the same. And a lot of the parts inside that case are cross-compatible. So I do know that a Korg T3 joystick will fit an M1 and an M1 joystick will fit a T3. Now, the question really becomes is have they kept the resistances the same? So physically it will fit, but you've got to ask, can you actually get, in terms of the pins and the pin out and all that sort of stuff. Now my understanding is yes, it was kept the same so that they could fertilise parts, because remember, when the T series was in production, the M1 was still in production and still selling well, which was one of the problems they had with the T series, because people were buying M1s and not buying Ts. Now, if you then look at the T2, Okay, so the T2 is a slightly bigger key bed. It's 76, isn't it? But if you look at the actual parts again, they're very compatible. So the round knobs, the tack switches, all that sort of stuff is very cross-compatible with the M1. As is, I understand, and I don't have a T2, so I can't confirm this, but I do know somebody has a T2, and they have said to me it is compatible with the T1 joystick assembly. So the T3 and the T2 are definitely cross-compatible. When you come to the T1, it's a completely different key bed, case, button assemblies, the whole 9 yards. It is not the same. Okay, the key bed is completely different. It's why you need two hefty roadies to move the thing around for you, because it is very heavy. When you come to look at the assembly, what nobody can confirm to me is whether all the fixing points on the T1 are the same fixing points for the M1. I haven't seen an M1 assembly and a T1 assembly, and I'll be honest with you, I have no intention of taking my M1 to pieces to have a look at the moment. That is something that is not on the project radar, so I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. But I believe the pinout is still the same, so theoretically an M1 joystick should work, but whether the mountings are the same, that is something I don't think is the case. But, and I will give this a but, and I say I'm not sure it fits without modifications, but without having an M1 assembly to try, in a T1 assembly, I can't confirm one way or the other. Now, the other side of this is Syntor. So we all know Sam Mims and Syntor are kind of the lifeline of the legacy synth game in terms of what they do and supplying parts for a lot of legacy kit. Their business model is effectively they buy up old synthesizers all across America, and you see Sam Mim on the Syntor channel on road trips filling up that rusty old van of his with old synthesizers and taking them back to Texas, which is where Syntor is based, and then they effectively work out whether they can salvage the synth, and if they can't salvage the synth, they break the synth down to parts. That's how the Syntor model works. It's akin to what we used to do, I'm assuming elsewhere in the world this is the same, but back in the day when health and safety wasn't such an issue, you used to, if you wanted to repair your car, and I did this when I was a young man, you got your first car, you couldn't afford to go to the main dealer to buy parts, so what you did was you went to a breaker's yard, and the breaker's yard would have cars sitting there waiting to be crushed. Until they were waiting to be crushed, you could go and take parts off the cars if it was useful to you. And they used to take off classic bits, like they would take off indicator housings and headlights and rear light assemblies and all kind of things that you quite often would need. You duffed backed into something, or somebody hit you and cracked the lens on your car, and of course that was you would get pulled by the police if you had a cracked rear lens. So it was in your interest, and it was I don't know, let's say $10 from the scrap dealer and $40 from the main dealer. But that's kind of the Syntor model. The Syntor model is effectively the scrap car dealer of the synthesizer world. The only downside to the Syntor model, if you don't live in the States, is that they have stated quite a few times now that if they're shipping overseas, they will only ship by courier. And that makes a Syntor order quite expensive. If I can't get it anywhere else, I will go to Syntor, but for Syntor to send something from Texas to here via courier, you're talking about $30 to $40. So if you're looking for a part that's say $10, all of a sudden it's cost you $50 to get it from Syntor to here. So I quite often try to find the parts elsewhere in the European Union, because it cost me about 10 quid to ship them as opposed to $40. So anyway, but that's kind of the whole Syntor thing. Godsend for many of us if you really need something and they've got it in stock, but sometimes they don't have it in stock, like what Karina is finding, and you end up having to go and get it elsewhere or just having to wait for it to come up on one of the portals.